Hey everybody, Kwame here. Welcome back to episode 1 officially of Studio Vlog. This is video where I just put out once every couple weeks slash month, where I just kind of talk. I'm just not reviewing anything, any kind of tutorials, just kind of have a couple of things I want to talk about and just sit in front of a camera in my studio and talk. Today's topic was something I've been thinking about for a while, So Sony came out with their new A7S III. Canon came out with a couple new cameras like the Canon R, I think it's the R6 and R5. I'm sure Fuji is going to be coming out with new cameras or have come out with new cameras. Panasonic probably has some stuff in the pipeline. And I've been thinking about this stuff because you see all these reviewers and they're doing their job, right? They're comparing one camera to another camera and this to that and bitrate to this and all that. And, the reality is for most of us, including myself, none of this matters. Like none of this, like all this back and forth about which camera does this and which camera does that and what is in this one versus that one. Like, you guys, it really doesn't matter. Like, whatever camera works for you should be what works for you. Personally, I use Panasonic and Sony cameras. Why? Because that's what I like and they work for me. And those are the type of videos I make because that's what I use. I've never looked at my pictures or my video and thought I'm less of a photographer, videographer, or hybrid shooter because I've used Micro Four Thirds. So now I got to get Sony stuff. No, I've always wanted and had aspirations for a Sony camera. I had an old one back in the day, like the A300, like way back in the day. 2010, I picked this up. Yeah, 2010, I picked it up. I used that until I got my Olympus camera. So I used that for 3-4 years. I think I had them both for a while. Anyways, long story short, like just because I use Sony cameras and recommend Sony cameras right now and also use Panasonic G9 and I recommend the heck out of this camera, it doesn't mean like if you don't have that camera or if you don't have one of the new cameras that you're less than a photographer or less than a videographer. It doesn't, like, these cameras at this point, the Sony A7 II, the one that I picked up a couple months ago, back in March, right? I love this camera, still love this camera. Every day I pick it up, I'm absolutely in love with this camera. It's an old camera, but guess what? It still takes amazing pictures. Like, the pictures I get are unbelievable. And for me, the Panasonic G9 is a very capable camera. I like it a lot, but I like to crop in. I like to really crop my pictures. I like having a fair amount of an image to crop into. And you really can't do that on a Micro Four Thirds camera. Like, you can, but you can crop only so much. There's this picture I took of a hummingbird last weekend. This picture is awesome. This is like one of my bucket list pictures, but I had to crop in a lot to get to get this image to where I wanted it to be, and could I do that on a Micro Four Thirds camera? I probably could, but it wouldn't look as good. I don't look at it and think, oh man, the new A7S III is coming out. I really need to get that because I need to replace this video camera. Oh, like, I've been using this camera to shoot professional client videos since I got it, and it's been fine. I used the Olympus EM5 before that. I think it's the EM5. I can't remember, but I used it before that. It wasn't even a video camera. It's more a photography camera. I used it for video for years and it was fine. Like, I figured out how to make it work. I picked up this one. It's a lot easier. I can record internally, record audio internally. I didn't have to use a separate external recorder. Like, it's so much easier. Just because I use this or somebody else use this, if you're just starting out in photography, you don't need this camera. You don't need an A7 anything, right? You can get an A6100, 6400. And you know what? Those are great cameras. You can pick up a Nikon camera. It's going to be a great camera. Like this brand tribalism, brand loyalty stuff. Like it was like how Android and iOS was for a long time. Right? You were team Android, team iOS, and it's like now, who cares? Like I'm team. I don't care. I'm team. Get the best picture. Right. The reason why I shoot pictures and I hopefully try to inspire other people to shoot pictures and video of, documenting their daily lives is because that's what matters. Like what we document, the moments that we capture are only moments in time for like that moment. And once it's gone, it's gone. Once the person is gone that you're taking a picture of, they're gone, or either whether it be from, old age or, something like that, or your kid grows up and moves out, right? Like my kid will move out one day, hopefully. And I have these pictures of us right now, like hanging out, doing all these things together, and those are gonna be precious. Like the mundane that goes into our everyday, especially right now, is gonna be so precious in a couple years. Like when, we have 2 dogs. When they're gone, the pictures I have of them are going to be so much more important to me because they're no longer here. While they're here, obviously, I try to spend as much time as I can with them, try to enjoy the moments we have with them. We took them camping with us. That was awesome. We haven't done that in a long time with the dogs. Instead of trying to, as I put in that video, trying to create all this content for the YouTube channel and all these other ideas I had, is like, let's just spend time and like hang out. How often do we get to do it? I mean, obviously right now we're doing that a lot more, but typically, always rushing, trying to get to swim class, trying to get to karate class, trying to get to baseball, trying to get to basketball. We got school, there's homework, there's all these things you're doing. And we don't ever really slow down and like just take a moment, look around. If any of you have watched Hamilton as many times as I've watched it, look at how lucky we are right now. Look at how lucky we are right now. For a lot of people, there's a lot of people who aren't here right now because of a disease that you may or may not believe in. That's all up to you. I don't, your opinion on that doesn't matter to me. However, there are people who aren't here right now, right? We need to realize that. And I see a lot of people online who stress out about like, I need to get the newest Sony camera. Should I get this one? Should I get that one? I've been caught up in that. Like, I should look at this or get this lens or get that lens. And at some point it's like, who cares? I don't look at pictures that I took when my kid was born. I know which camera and what lens I was using when my kid was born, but like there's a lot of pictures. I don't look and be like, was that with the 400mm lens or the 50mm lens? Or what was that other lens? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're starting out photography, let me tell you, get a camera and get a 50mm prime lens and learn how to use your camera and that lens like the back of your hand. Like, you can take so many great pictures. I used that combination of a 50mm lens and A300, I don't know. I used that combination for years before I bought a second lens. That's all I used was a 50mm lens, and it was amazing. It was great in low light, so I could take it anywhere. At the time it wasn't mirrorless, so it was a big, heavy camera, but it was still great. And I didn't have to worry about lenses, and we didn't have all these YouTube channels saying like, you need to get this, you need to get that. I don't think I'm guilty of that, but I do recommend gear to you guys. Not because I'm trying to hawk gear or hawk affiliate sales. It's because I think it's good gear. And I don't think you need to spend $10,000 on a lens. I think you can get a really good lens, a couple $100. You can pick up a good camera for, under $1,000. And you can have that combination for the next 10 years easily. Like, these cameras can last 10 years. I mean, you don't have to upgrade a camera every year or every 2 years or every 3 years. Like, we're finding out with cell phones, you don't have to upgrade every 2 years, right? Wow, surprise, they last longer than we think. I'm still using an iPhone 7 Plus. That is not a new camera at all. But it works. Like, it shoots 4K video, it shoots decent pictures, and I can read email and stuff like that on it. And that's the same with these cameras, right? Like, my Sony A7 II doesn't shoot 4K video. This camera does. and I shoot zero 4K video. I shoot it every now and again for clients, right? But even then, I don't like shooting it because the files are so large and it takes so much longer to work with and to store and all this stuff. We need to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We need to stop comparing ourselves to what we see on Instagram. I'm not the greatest influence on Instagram because I post every now and again. And even now I'm starting to post pictures, and I was trying to write like long captions and all this stuff. And now it's like cloud and I think what was my last post was moon and cloud, bird on side, lady sitting under a tree. Like, I don't post them to get likes or anything like that. I'm posting pictures hopefully to inspire people to take pictures of the mundane. A lot of the pictures I've been posting on Instagram and Flickr, because I'm back on Flickr now, and on my website, of course, are just from morning walks with the Beagle. Like, I go outside with the can. Like, so that's the other thing I wanted to talk about today. People, I've seen and read people who are trying to figure out like how to become a better photographer. Like, they see all these photographers and these pictures from Iceland or Norway or Death Valley or the Grand Canyon. They're like, I don't live by these places. I can't get to them. How can I take really epic pictures? By taking really boring pictures of your everyday life. Like, shoot pictures every day. There's a photographer who I love, Jay Maisel. There's a video, Jay Myself. I will leave a link down below. I think you have to buy it. It's like $12 to buy. But if you're into photography, this is a video to watch because Jay Maisel is the king of, he has a camera with him everywhere he goes. He has a camera with him in every room of his when he owned this bank. Like, he literally owned a bank in New York. He had a camera in every room. He's always walked around with a camera. A few years ago, I remember listening to an interview with him. He asked him, he's like, Jay, how often do you go outside with a camera and just walk around? He's like, every day. He goes, well, I mean, like, when do you just go out to take pictures? He goes, every day I go out of the house, I have a camera with me. Every day I'm in the house, I have a camera with me. A lot of people are sometime photographers. And I'm like that too sometimes, where I'm a sometime photographer. Sometimes I bring my camera with me, sometimes I don't, sometimes I'm thinking. But now it's like, I make sure I have a camera with me everywhere I go. And I don't count my phone. Like, the phone is great, but the phone can also be a distraction for other stuff. I bring a camera with me everywhere I go. And sometimes I take a picture, sometimes I don't. And even if I'm just walking the dog in the afternoon, like not in the morning, I'll still bring the camera because you can be walking down the street and I see this giant bus that's been converted into like a home on wheels. That's pretty cool. It's like, oh, I've never seen that before. Take a picture. And so that's something that I hope you guys get out of this channel is it's not... You hear that it's not about the gear a lot, and I hear that too, and it gets annoying because, like, well, you do have to have semi-decent gear to take good pictures, but it's more than that. It's really, you have to, if you are serious about becoming a better photographer or videographer or creative, like even if you're a painter or a writer or someone who draws, you have to do it every day. And you're not going to get hero work every day. You're not going to go out and make amazing pictures like of a sunrise or a sunset, or you're not going to unless you live by the Grand Canyon, you're not going to be able to take epic pictures every day. It's about taking normal pictures that feel good to you, right? The more pictures you take and the more pictures that you make that you like, that are good, guess what? The more you're going to want to take pictures. But if you take pictures only when you go on vacation, or only if you're going on up to Rocky Mountain National Park, then you're not gonna, the pictures you get from there are gonna be just okay because you haven't used the muscle of taking pictures and seeing the world in pictures as much. So that's my advice to people. Stop caring about the cameras that you see, like the reviews, like new cameras coming out. I'm not getting the A7S III. I have no need for it. I'm not picking up a Canon anything. I have the cameras I want and the cameras that I will keep for quite a while now. Like, I'm good for a while. I think I'm in a little different position because as someone who has a YouTube channel, I feel like maybe there are days I feel like maybe I should talk about gear more. But also, like, I'm kind of, this channel is just me documenting my journey in photography too. Like, it's not an end goal. It's a journey where photography is, there's always something to learn. Right now, I'm really into like bird photography. You know, I'm trying not to limit myself as I'm a landscape photographer. I'm an architect photographer. Like, I document my life, and that's what I do. So maybe I'm a documentary photographer and videographer. Like, you can't forget video. You know, we're in a hybrid shooting world. So I'm a hybrid creative, photography and video, and maybe that's what we all should be. I don't know. That's just up to individual people, but you know, don't care about the gear. Meaning, once you get something, put blinders on and just focus on getting better at your craft, whatever that craft may be. Maybe it's playing video games. You know, you give yourself. You know, I'm gonna coming out with a video soon about self assignments and self projects and why it's so important to do that, and also like printing our work. That's really important. Anyways, this has been a long video. Thank you guys as always for watching these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye bye.